Podcast City Network.
Hey guys, and welcome to another exciting episode of Final Score, episode 110. That's right, making it happen like we always do here on Final Score. And as you see, we do not have JDM tonight. JDM sadly had his own family emergency to deal with, so we definitely wish him all the best. But we brought in the next best thing. Spayce, how you doing today, bud?
How's everyone doing today? It's your boy Spayce crawling out of my wormhole to hop on to Final Score today, and I'm so excited to be here, man. Thanks for bringing me on, Chris. How you doing today, man?
Man, hanging in there, man. Ready for another exciting episode because we definitely got a lot of stuff to talk about. We took last week off for Father's Day, so happy Father's Day again to all the fathers out there. Hopefully it was good for all of you.
Oh yeah. I had ribs.
You had ribs. I had steak. So can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that.
You can't.
But you can't. But you know what else you can't go wrong with? Following us on social media at PCN Final Score on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Go on all those platforms and smash those like, follow, and subscribe buttons, and also hit the little bells. That way you can make sure you get notified every time that we go live or post any kind of content. And hey, we're always trying to post stuff up, whether it be memes, stories, or our live episodes. Just got to check it all out. I tell you what. And a quick shout out to Jimmy in the chat saying happy Father's Day, y'all. Yeah. Appreciate it, bud. Definitely was a good one. Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely had a shout out. We gave a shout out during Father's Day for all the fathers out there. So, of course, I probably looked like I got hit by a Mack truck because, hey, that's what 4 kids do to you. But, you know, it is what it is. He
wakes up every morning with only half of his HP bar.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Trying to find me a potion somewhere. Oh, right. Man. My goodness. But some others are trying to find some potions after some wild conference finals is our hockey playoffs. That's right. We still have hockey playoffs because we are now into the Stanley Cup final. And I'm not going to lie, it's going to be pretty exciting because we have a team that has now made the Stanley Cup for the first time since 1993. So, which is, I say, a very big deal. And that is the Montreal Canadiens, who's going to be taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Game 1 happening Monday, June 28th, 8 p.m. on the NBC Sports Network. Man, this is going to be crazy.
Across sports in general, we're seeing a lot of surprises in these championship runnings. Like, I don't think it's a couple of NBA teams I don't think anybody thought was gonna make it this far. As far as the NFL goes, with the crazy unpredicted trades that got made during not trade day, draft day. Like, it's a lot of surprises in the sports world in general this year we seeing in this post-pandemic era.
Oh yeah, and it's pretty crazy seeing how it's all come around. Of course, the Lightning are I should say our defending champions who are now coming in trying to be able to make something happen. It's going to be crazy, man. Montreal though is going to be playing a very physical style of hockey that's going to try and keep them down. But you know, even though he's not here, I feel like we're missing something, and I think that something is JDM. So you know what? Let's go ahead, let JDM have his predictions because JDM's way more versed at this than I am, I should say, and I know he has a lot to say on it. So here's for you guys.
Yeah, let's definitely get that one going.
What's up, everybody? It is your boy JDM here with a Stanley Cup preview here on Final Score. I know it was promoted that I was going to be there live with you boys, but something had come up. Got to take care of some family business tonight, but I was not going to leave my boy Chris hanging, not in one bit. So I jumped on to record with you guys the Stanley Cup preview and just how on earth did we get here? Yes, I had one of my friends send me that disgusting thing back there. But you know what? I got to give credit where credit is due. For starters, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning. How did we get here with the Tampa Bay Lightning? It came down to not only were they able to survive what I feel is one of their tougher tests in the Florida Panthers in round one and beat them 4-2, they also wiped through Carolina as if they weren't the team that we're used to seeing. 4-1 in that series. And then a hard-fought battle where they beat the system against the New York Islanders in a Game 7 victory. They won 1-0 off of a shorthanded goal. Let's put that into perspective. 1-0 off of a shorthanded goal. Sure, did the refs accidentally miss again that they had 5 players on the ice, even though they're only supposed to have 4? I'll let you decide that. Regardless of that, they found a way to beat the system. And you know what? When it comes down to it, they're still one of the best teams in the league. You're not going to beat Vasilevsky with 18 shots on goal. You're not going to beat Vasilevsky if you're only keeping to the outside. And I said it in the last preview. When I was on the show last time, I told Chris and I said it. If Kucherov does not score and become effective 5-on-5, Tampa Bay is going to have one hell of a time. Well, guess what? Teams that are this experienced and this damn good, they find a way. Kucherov then followed up my comments because I guess he was watching Final Score. That's my guess. That's my bet, is that they were watching the show and he goes, all right, I got you. Here's 3 apples on 5-on-5. The next few games, multiple goals, 5-on-5. You cannot deal with the Tampa Bay Lightning when they are also contributing on 5-on-5. They started really pushing in the playoffs because of their power play and because of how good their power play was. And then when the Islanders system started to weigh on them and you thought, man, can the Islanders actually pull this off with that trap system, that defensive system, and then using the explosiveness of players like Barzell to just get 1 or 2 goals here or there and then just shut them down. The Islanders playing with a lead is huge. It's always beneficial. Well, you know what Tampa Bay did in the last couple of games? They jumped on them quick. They made sure that they didn't have a lead, and the rest is history. So congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning for making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, what else can we say? You got to give them props where props is due. Kucherov leads the NHL with 27 points in these playoffs. You know, a lot of power play goals early on. We all know that. The multiple 6-5 games against Florida. But also, it's those 3 apples in 5-on-5. That primary assist on 5-on-5 in game 5. And he missed game 6 due to an injury. So he was able to come back in game 7. Wasn't really effective. So how on earth did they win without their best player doing anything, much of anything? It came down to that core defense of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Victor Hedman, Mikhail Sergachev, Ryan McDonough, Denny Savard. These guys are shot blocking machines. All they do is eat pucks all day. They're big bodies with long reaches. Hedman definitely has a lot of upside when it comes to it. His offensive capability, a lot more than Sergachev right now because he's young. McDonough knows what kind of player he needs to be in the playoffs. He can run it on the offensive side and do great first passes, but he doesn't need to. He just goes all day eating pucks. They only got 18 shots. Look at this, 18 shots on Vasilevsky. That's not going to cut it, man. That is not going to cut it. So that is how the Tampa Bay Lightning got to the finals. Now let's take a look at your Montreal Canadiens. How did the Montreal Canadiens get to where they're at? Now, this is much more of an improbable run, okay? And you know what? We have one team to blame here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs decided to put NOS in their engines, okay? It was like Vin Diesel and Paul Walker and Dwayne Johnson and all these freaking Fast and Furious idiots just adding extra NOS into the tanks. Up 3-1 against the Montreal Canadiens. 2 duster of a games, 2 overtime wins from Montreal, then a Game 7 rout. They just gave them all this momentum. And then they go in and they go against a very cold Winnipeg Jets team. They get fuel from the fire off of a Sheffley hit, and they get pissed off. They run through them. Then they run into their old captain, Max Pacioretty, that they traded for Nick Suzuki because Max Pack wanted out of Montreal. He didn't want to deal with the pressure. They bring in some youth. And guess what? If you look at that matchup, the Montreal Canadiens versus the Vegas Golden Knights, the Vegas Golden Knights have a little bit of a curse going. They go to the finals. Then they lose to San Jose the first year, right? Then they lose the next year in the playoffs. Then they lose to Dallas the year after that. They haven't been back. They continue to be all in, but they have no infusion of youth. Okay? They sold out way too fast. Look at what the Montreal Canadiens built right now. They circled all their youth. They built from the outside of the net out. They built with Carey Price. They put together a decor of Shea Weber, okay, Jeff Petrie, Ben Sherratt, Joel Edmondson. Some experience on the blue line there, very much so. Along with Carey Price, one of the best goaltenders in the game right now. Then they started with some youth. Nick Suzuki, Jesper Kotkaniemi. I'm sorry if I butchered that, buddy. Kotkaniemi. They also bring in Tyler Toffoli from Vancouver. So they bring in a little bit of experience, and they go out and get a guy like Corey Perry. They go out and they get a guy like Eric Stahl. They bring in Cole Caulfield, pure natural goal scorer, young kid. They traded Max Domi. You know, they put together quite a ragtag group with such an insane mix of youth and experience that's exactly what the Vegas Golden Knights were lacking in their squad. An invasion of youth. Some kids that are ready to go at it and make plays and make a name for themselves. There is nothing more pressing than having a guy in the NHL making a name for himself in the playoffs like Cole Caulfield, aka Goal Caulfield, has been doing with 4 goals in the playoffs and just a huge shot in the arm to the Montreal Canadiens. Nick Suzuki, drafted 13th overall by the Vegas Golden Knights, then traded to Montreal, has been one of the better two-way forwards in the playoffs, having 5 goals, 13-something points. And Montreal has game breakers up and down that lineup, and that is exactly why they got to the Stanley Cup Finals. Also, it sure as hell helps that Mr. Carey Price has been nothing but an absolute G on the back end with timely saves, dealing with a high shot volume, big save percentage. He's been phenomenal throughout the whole playoffs. And it's been a whole lot of fun to watch. There's no doubt about it. Now, before I move on, I want to definitely make sure before we get into our preview, okay, let's not forget a couple things. Number one, this is your host, JDM, with Not a Hockey Market Podcast on FinalScore. Not a Hockey Market Podcast is a proud member of Podcast City Network. the network that is just other podcasters helping each other out, people helping people. So thank you very much, Chris, for giving me the chance to jump on here. As we continue, we got to look into what we got going on for the Stanley Cup final preview here. So Monday night, you got game 1. Wednesday night, you got game 2. Both will be on NBCSN. And then games 3 through 7 will be on NBC. So be sure to tune in to that, folks. Final Score fans, please put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Go to my Instagram page at Not a Hockey Market Podcast and let me know what you think. Follow me on there as well for more and more hockey content that I love bringing to you boys. So, Chris, I'm going to tell you, here's where it comes in, brother. Here it comes, the stats. We're going to start talking about the stats. You are going to see the best goaltending finals matchup that I have seen since the 90s. Okay? Since the Patrick Wall days versus Brodeur. That's how far back we're going. We're talking about Carey Price for the Montreal Canadiens, Andrei Vasilevsky for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Their goals against average is disgusting in these playoffs. Carey Price has a 2.02 goals against average in these playoffs. Vasilevsky, a 1.99. Just let that think, just let that sit into your heads right now, man. That is insanity. And guess what? The 4 defensemen for these teams, they both, all of them, like to eat pucks all damn day. They have guys that are averaging 5 blocks a game. Ryan McDonough, Ben Sherratt, 5 blocks a game. Weber and Petrie, 30-something minutes of ice time. Sergachev and Hedman, 30 minutes of ice time. The defensive cores of these teams are so well built. They're both different. Yeah, Tampa Bay has a lot more offensive upside. But don't get it twisted. Shea Weber still has a cannon. He was competing against Zdeno Chara and hardest slap shot, hitting 102 miles an hour. He can still bring it. And Jeff Petrie, easily one of the better, most underrated distributors on the back end in a long time. All right. Ben Sherratt has made a name for himself in these playoffs defensively, completely shutting down players like Max Pacioretty, like Mark Stone. He was invisible last series. All right. Blake Wheeler did nothing. That's what this guy, Ben Sherratt has been able to do. Now, I'm looking at some stats here, boys, and I got to tell you this. It is going to be an experience versus youth scenario. The Tampa Bay Lightning coming back to the Stanley Cup Finals, looking for back-to-back Stanley Cup wins for the first time since Pittsburgh did it. And Pittsburgh did it, and the team before then was the Red Wings back in the 90s. So it's not something that happens often because we are a league of great variety. You never know what the hell's going to happen in the NHL playoffs. That is for sure, hands down, something that has to be said. You never freaking know. Now, Canadians are going nuts. And I'm just talking about the Montreal Canadiens. Don't get it twisted. Vancouver's not happy about the Habs being there. Toronto's definitely not happy about the Habs being there. Calgary's not happy about the Habs being there. Just the Montreal Canadiens are happy, okay? So, fans, don't get it twisted. I've talked to my Canadian friends. They all cannot stand that the Montreal Canadiens are in the Stanley Cup Finals. Unless they're a Montreal Canadian fan. All right? Now, it is an original 6 team. Complete hockey market, hockey, blood. But it's kind of interesting. An original 6 team is the ultimate underdog in these playoffs. A hockey market that has been ignored since 1993 because they just too much drama, not successful enough. They go and they do an infusion of youth. They build from the goaltender out, and they take a hell of a ride. You kind of got to root for it. The irony behind an original 6 team full-on hockey market is the ultimate underdog against a dynasty style of a team similar to the age of the Chicago Blackhawks, of the Tampa Bay Lightning. The $17 million over the cap. Yeah, we're just going to talk about that and then ignore it because that's what the NHL is doing right now. So we might as well do the same, right, Chris? So, yeah, $17 million over the cap. They have been on an unprecedented run in the playoffs, but have only won one cup in that time span. All right. Similar to the San Jose Sharks that ended up not winning one ever. But guess what? Tampa Bay got one in the bubble. They got one in the bubble. So let's see how well they do when Montreal Habs fans will be flocking to FTB Arena. They're going to be there in droves. Sorry, no jersey policy of yours is going to actually hold these guys back. Not happening. Never going to happen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read about it. Yeah, it's a stupid story, but hey, that's the world we live in sometimes. Montreal Canadiens, their penalty kill has gone 22 straight games without allowing a power play goal. 22 straight games. That penalty kill has shut down the power play. And we're talking about going up against the best power play in the NHL right now. No matter which way you swing it, even when you put pressure on them and you pressure the puck carrier, guess what? Kucherov has been also dishing dimes over to Braden Point, who had a 10-game goal streak in the playoffs. And he himself has been absolutely phenomenal. One of my favorite players of all time, Jaromir Jagr, the GOAT, has said Braden Point for MVP. Tampa wins. That's my pick right there for the Vezina is Braden Point. So Tampa found a way to contribute on 5-on-5. If they continue to do that, Montreal better watch out because they can shut down their power play all they want, but they're contributing now on 5-on-5. They're finding other ways to score. Yanni Gourde put together a shorty to win in Game 7. Now, they're going to need, and here's the deal, Tampa Bay needs some other guys to step up. Not Stamkos, not Kucherov, not Point. They need more players like Yanni Gourde, Pat Maroon, Colton, the bottom 6 guys to come through. A bottom 6 player for the Montreal Canadiens, Joel Armia, has 5 goals in these playoffs, 2 shorthanded. So it's going to also be the 5-on-5 play of the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the overtime game breakers. Now, we all know that Braden Point is the overtime game breaker for the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right. He's done it before. He's done it in the past. He did it last year. He could probably do it again this year. But for the Montreal Canadiens, they had Kotkaniemi, Suzuki, Toffoli, Anderson, and Lehtinen all contribute with an overtime game-winning goal. So if Montreal can hold that score and go to overtime, I like Montreal's chances in continuing that trend and continuing to ride that hot streak. Not to mention, this is the first time the Montreal Canadiens are back in the playoff in the Stanley Cup Finals since 1993. So they are definitely playing like there's nothing to lose. They've already won in a weird sense. Yeah, we don't like to say that in hockey because there's only one winner. You're either first or you're last, Ricky Bobby. So they're going to want this big time. And that infusion of youth with Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki and Kotkaniemi and Joel Armia and all these young kids, man, they playing like nothing to lose. Tampa's got everything to lose. They're supposed to be a dynasty based on how their team is built. They are $17 million over the cap. If they don't win the Stanley Cup while being $17 million over the cap, what the hell are you doing? So there's definitely that to keep into play. We've got one hell of a Stanley Cup final, all kinds of intrigue. Price versus Vasilevsky. Decor versus decor. Young youth players versus some of the best in the league. The power play versus the PK. I mean, you can't chalk it up any better. You got Montreal versus Florida versus Tampa Bay. Where do majority of the snowbirds love to come visit? They love to come ride some jet skis over in Tampa Bay. I mean, they would prefer Miami, but that's besides the point. Plus, Miami's got better Cuban food than Tampa Bay. Come at me. Ladies and gentlemen, you got one hell of a Stanley Cup preview right there, Final Score fans. I hope you enjoyed the hell out of it. And guess what? Final Score is a absolute gem of a show, and there's all kinds of content platforms that you can find it on. Audio, you can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Player FM, Bullhorn, Castbox, the list goes on and on. Also, if you want to see the live video, go to YouTube, search keyword PCN Final Score, just one word, una palabra, and also visit us on the website at podcastcity.net/Final Score. That's it for me for right now. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy some great freaking hockey. I'm your host, JDM of Not a Hockey Market Podcast, and that's it for me for now. Cheers, boys.
Yeah, second round.
Yeah, so we are definitely back. Definitely some great words from JDM, and also taking care of them content platforms for us. Definitely make sure to check out all the great content platforms that we are on, like he said. So many ones to choose from. Pick your favorite. Find us on there. Search Final Score, and just smash that subscribe and follow button. It's really that easy. But now we can go ahead and jump right into the NBA, and man, I tell you what, it has been a doozy getting all the way to this point where we now have our East and West finals. We've been seeing the Hawks take on the Bucks, which is where we're going to start. And
I haven't been this emotional in a long time.
I was about to say, man, I know this has been difficult for you to try and watch, and to try and watch your boys try and take on probably the juggernaut of the East when it comes to the Bucks, but now, they're sitting on a 1-1 split on the first two games. Hawks took game 1, 116-113. Bucks took game 2, 125-91. However,
game 3 is going on like right now, right?
It is, and right now the Hawks lead 56-51 over the Milwaukee Bucks with 1:07 left in the second. So anything can happen.
Yeah. Anything can happen with that score at this time frame. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm excited, but I, trying to contain myself until we get to that hashtag final score.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited that the boys made it this far. Your boy Ice Trey has been nothing but netting it for the squad. So definitely happy to see all that happening for the team, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And their whole journey here has been amazing to really see what they've been able to pull off with, honestly, not as star-studded of a roster as some of these other teams that we're seeing in the West and East finals right now. So it's very interesting to see how they've been able to pull this off, and let's see if they continue to, right? Like I said, right now, current quick update, 56-53 Hawks right now with 30 seconds left. So, and that's in the first half. So they're about to hit halftime here in a little bit, but I tell you, man,
it's the Gatorade, chill out for a minute, get their mind right.
Absolutely. And right now, to give you a quick update, Giannis is sitting with 16 points. Your boy Trae Young with 17 points, leading all scorers in the game right now. So definitely going to be interesting to see how this carries out. But the Milwaukee Bucks just tied it up going into halftime, so it is now 56 all at halftime. So definitely a lot of basketball left, but this is, I think, going to be a very exciting game.
See how much happened in just them 36 seconds that we was just talking about? That's how quick the game can change on you, man.
It definitely can. It's all that quick, but still, like I said, a lot of basketball left, man. A lot can still happen in these conference finals. Now, we do have game 3 tonight. Game 4, though, will take place Tuesday, June 29th at 8:30 p.m. on TNT. So definitely make sure to catch that one as well. But looking at the Western Conference, you still have the Suns and the Clippers going at it. The Clippers finally were able to get themselves back on the board and try and halt a sweep. However, Suns ended up taking Game 4 84-80 to take a 3-1 series lead. Game 5 will be Monday, June 28th, 9 p.m. on ESPN. And I learned earlier that Kawhi Leonard has been ruled out for that game as well. Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult for the Clippers to stay in this. How do you like their chances?
Right. I mean, I don't know, bro. They're definitely chipping off some of them numbers. And not to mention, they don't have no room to slip. They like ice road truckers right now. They got to win every game from now to the end of this series to even stay in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just so they can have a chance to come back on Game 7. So I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The Suns been playing some pretty solid basketball in the series thus far. So it would be nice to see it go all the way to 7, just as somebody who want to see a Cinderella story happen. But I gotta say, I'm leaning for the Suns on this one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I got to say, not even just for the sake of a good friend of mine who's a huge Suns fan, I would love to see the Suns be able to finally come back all the way around and win themselves an NBA Finals. I think that would be absolutely amazing. But first, they got to make it through the Clippers. And with how good they've been playing, I think the Suns end up taking it, and they end up winning the series 4-1. So we'll definitely see, though. But what do you think about that Hawks and Bucks series? I know you're pulling for the Hawks real hardcore, but who do you think really realistically takes that series?
I mean, honestly, the way that they've been on a tear, I really feel like the Hawks can blast through this series if they just keep that momentum going. Not to mention going up against a team like the Bucks, if they can take this series and have it as their own, then that kind of proves that they done been, you know what I'm saying, putting the practice in necessary to make it to this stage. This would definitely be something that would display like Trae Young's true abilities under pressure, because it's a little pressure I think Hawks hasn't been having since Trae Young became one of us. So I definitely think it would be a great way to test out the squad, especially since it's not like you were saying, like it's not an all-star roster we have right now. We have like, you know, just a team of guys who, you know, hopefully been going in and getting the kind of chemistry on the court that could transcend just the fact that, like, you know what I'm saying, they aren't those poster board names just yet. Because, you know, after winning the season like this, everybody on that starting five gonna be somebody.
Yeah, because looking at it, you know, Trae Young and you got Capella, but outside of that, it's a bunch of no names, really. So definitely been awesome to see what the Hawks have been able to do with that. I think the Hawks definitely got a good chance. The Bucks have a propensity now to fall flat on their face when the biggest moments arise. So I don't like their chances, especially with how, like you said, how strong the Hawks have been playing. Even though the Bucks got that huge blowout win, we're seeing right now that they're in a very tight race going into halftime. So, you know, it could really go either way. And I think that's been kind of showing too that this series might end up going all 7. And that's something I think both teams really got to keep in mind. And if we're going to go the distance, I might want to pick that hot hand of Trae Young.
Yeah, they might want to pace themselves through these games, especially since, like you said, the Bucks had a propensity to kind of fall flat in the most opportune moments. That's something that we're finally seeing the Hawks not do right now, because that's something that both the Hawks and the Falcons kind of have a reputation for, as winning the entire game all the way up to the end. So it's great to see the Hawks kind of breaking past that little curse right there. So if they could do it with the Bucks, it's almost kind of like, you know what I'm saying, like one of those transcendent Jedi type of moments. Like, okay, so it's finally time for us to, you know what I'm saying, be the team that we always knew we could be. So I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see it.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, there's Hawks fans everywhere just just hoping that comes to pass like that. So
if this was a school day, a lot of kids would be sleepy tomorrow staying up for this game. I promise you that.
Absolutely. And it's definitely going to be an interesting one. And we'll definitely have more on both the East and West finals once we get to next week for episode 111 of Final Score. So definitely make sure to check back then. But dare I say, we actually have yet another segment from JDM talking about the NBA playoffs. Here he is.
Oh, yes. Let's hear what he got to say.
What's going on, guys? What's up, Final Score fans? Hey, Chris, man. I know I'm not going to let you go without giving you my predictions for some great basketball going on. I know everyone's got to heard yours, but I'm wondering, y'all want to hear mine? You damn straight you do. Because you know what? I like to get in there and ball too. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it real quick. Right now, I know you were talking about you got the Phoenix Suns against the LA Clippers. And, hey, Suns in 4 guy, he's not going to be around, but I'm just going to say it and come out with it. Suns in 5. Devin Booker playing on an absolute another level. I got the Phoenix Suns moving on in 5. Yeah, I'm going to just call it now. And you know why I'm calling it right now? This is the reason why I'm calling it right now. These guys. Because sports loves the universe. And the universe gods and the sports gods, they love to just mess with you. The last time the Phoenix Suns were in the finals was 1993. The last time the Montreal Canadiens was in the finals was 1993. It's going to happen, boys. It's going to happen. I love the Phoenix Suns, the way they're playing. They're playing loose. Devin Booker is not just playing from the outside or the perimeter. He's driving the net. He's dishing. He's giving it up. And, I mean, come on, let's talk about that beast in the middle. 22 rebounds the other night? 22? Are you kidding me with that? Absolutely disgusting. I like the Phoenix Suns to advance, and I'd like to see them go up against the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, this is going to be one hell of a dogfight of a series, Chris. I'm telling you. Hawks and Bucks, it's going to be back and forth. But when it comes down to it, in my opinion, the Hawks stay consistent. Trae Young, with that swag of his, is going to stay consistent. He may have a rough quarter here or there, but he's still going to bounce back. He's still going to put up 30-something on you every night if he wants to. He's still going to distribute the ball as well to some of his other guys. The Bucks, the problem I have with the Bucks is that they're not consistent. Yeah, sure, you'll have one player go off and help Giannis, but then the next night he disappears. You'll have Holiday go off next night. Where'd you go, bro? Where'd you go? It's like, where's Waldo on the Bucks team? You don't know who the hell is going to step up. And that's the problem with the Bucks have, and that's why I picked the Hawks to advance. So I got the Hawks and the Suns for the NBA championship. Now, wouldn't it be fun, Chris? Come on, man. Wouldn't it be fun? I didn't give you my Stanley Cup predictions. No, sir. I waited for now because in my heart, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the Phoenix Suns in their first appearance since 93 and the Montreal Canadiens in their first appearance since 93. Those are our NHL and NBA champions. Now, I know you're thinking, geez, George, how can you go against Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay definitely has a very, very legitimate shot at winning a second one, and it very well could happen. But in my heart, as a sports fan, I want Montreal. Only because I can't stand Tampa Bay, number one. Number two, it would be so sweet. It would be too sweet. One hell of a ride, one hell of a story for the Montreal Canadiens to come in and come away with that win. And then for the Phoenix Suns, the same. One hell of a ride, one hell of a story. Broken nose, don't matter. Devin Booker. Bringing the Phoenix, the Valley, the Sun Valley to the championship platform right there, right at the top. 2 teams winning it since 93. Nothing could be better for the sports world. So those are my predictions and my hopes. My hockey mind kind of tells me a little bit. Maybe Tampa in 6. If not, Habs in 7. And for Phoenix versus Atlanta, it doesn't matter who. That's going to 7. That's going to be exciting basketball to watch. It's going to go back and forth. It's going to come down to who drains the last shot. And even though Trae Young easily has a better shot, it'll be Booker that comes away with the last shot in a game 7. I mean, that's what I'd love to see. Now, we don't know if that's exactly how it's going to go, but I got Phoenix Suns advancing, Hawks advancing, and I got Phoenix winning the NBA title. Those are my picks right there for you, Chris. So I had to make sure I came in and give you my favorites to advance and my NBA champion, because there's nothing out there like these teams right now, and feels good to be a champion. And you know what else, bud? You know what else? You know what makes you feel like a champion, all you Final Score fans, every single day? By shopping at the PCN shop. Guess what? PCN shop, they have what you need, whether it's a neck gaiter to protect you from some COVID-19, a mug for your morning coffee or morning scotch, or a t-shirt just to look cool. We got you covered. Get the latest apparel and gear from your favorite podcast and Podcast City network by visiting podcastcity.net/shop and check out that championship lineup. Cheers to you, Chris. Enjoy.
It's black.
And man, we are back, and I tell you what, you just can't stop JDM. He's just a machine, man. I tell you what,
yeah,
just a machine. Just keeps on going like a machine, man.
And I whatsoever ain't hating on his fortune tellery of the Suns and the Hawks taking it all the way to 7 games, and they being like, that's out. Yes, let's see that. Let's see that shit.
Yes.
That is what America needs right there.
Absolutely.
Deep down in their heart, for real.
You ain't lying, man. You ain't lying. But like he also said, definitely make sure to check out the PCN shop at podcastcity.net/shop, where you can get all the latest and greatest Final Score merch, including our new logo items. So definitely make sure to check that out. podcastcity.net/shop. But now it's time to talk about a little bit of college football playoff expansion, because the summer review phase to test prospects and timing for the 12-team college football playoff has been approved, which means
so it's a go.
So it's a go right now, which means that they are actually going to go and try and figure all this out and see if they have a viable timeline to be able to implement a 12-team playoff in the college football playoff, which would be huge. And why this is an important step in the process is because as the playoff couldn't expand without the support of the presidents and chancellors who make up the CFP, the group has the full authority of all aspects of that company's operations as the college football playoff subcommittee. So with that, part of what they do is literally decide how these formats are going to work, how they're going to be implemented, how the TV contracts work, everything about it. And all of them, which includes 10 chancellors from the different conferences, as well as the Notre Dame president, Reverend John Jenkins, who have come together to make this happen. So with this, we're finally going to see an expanded playoff. So man, I tell you what,
people seem to be really behind this too. They got some of the most powerful people in the college football world, like, backing it further. Like, it seems like it ain't even gonna be if it's gonna happen. It seems like they just figuring out when it's gonna happen. And
you know what? I love that you said that particular word, when, because looking at this, they got a quote from Mississippi State President and Board of Managers Chair Mark Keenum, who said, "I don't think anyone in the room had a serious problem with the concept of this 12-team proposal, but the devil's in the details. We got into the details before we can make an informed decisions. We got to get into them." But I love the wording he chose is, if we decide to make a change, when would we do that? When would work for us? When would it be most feasible? And that's the thing. They say they don't know the answers yet, but they want to figure that out. So when you're hearing the when questions rather than the if questions, that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, a total difference, because now it's just like that, and that gets everybody amped up to, put their best foot forward on the first time this is, experimented with, just so people will stay interested for them to keep doing it.
Absolutely. Now, the timeline of this is still going to take time. The Board of Managers and Management Committee aren't expected to meet again until September 28th on the matter. So it's still going to be some time before we even have the next step of this really take form, hopefully in the form of a vote of basically ratifying some type of template, or at least moving on to the next stage of this process. So still more time has to go into this, but best believe that we will
They put a lot
definitely.
of time in already though. Their proposal took like 2 years worth of research just for them to get it finished. Like that's insane.
Oh
Like it
yeah.
called yeah, like I mean I didn't even realize before we started getting into this story just how much it really takes to get something like this like passed.
Absolutely, but the thing is too is they still want to gather more information to see how this is going to affect these student athletes academically, how it affects the calendar year for the schools, how all kinds of different aspects of how all this will intertwine. So there's still a lot more to figure out, but best believe we are on the way finally, and we thank all the Final Score fans for their due diligence and their support. By getting the hashtag down with CFP t-shirt, boycotting the college football playoff, and trying to do what we can to try and make a change to the college football playoff. Power. That's right. And now we're finally seeing something happen. So like Jimmy said in the chat, yes, hopefully this is just a start. Get your victory lap ready. Get that victory lap. Man, I tell you what, but we ain't there yet until it's ratified. So a lot more could happen with this. And that's one thing that they even cautioned too. Is they said, quote, I want to caution observers of this process not to rush to conclusions about what our board may decide. We still have a lot more information, more facts to bring to the table for the board of managers to make any decisions going forward, end quote. So definitely still going to be a process. So no matter what, it's not done until it's done. So we got to continue to fight, continue to push, and make sure that this ends up happening. So whatever we got to do, we got to do.
Especially with them like trying to expand like that, they definitely need to make sure they get all their ducks in a row as far as like what are the players' rights need to be going from like now until forever before they start asking them to play more games.
Yeah, and the big thing too is that the playoff is entering in its current format, the 8th season of a 12-year contract that runs through the 2025 season. So that has to be taken into consideration as well, that nothing really could happen, they said, until as early as possibly 2023, but it could take longer depending upon how contracts work out and all that kind of stuff too. So you know, it's still going to be a little bit, you know, we're sitting in 2021.
And the level of interest by the target demographic and all that too, because if they can't maintain the level of interested parties, they might end up bailing out then too.
Yeah, and there's a growing sense it could take longer. So, but as long as the process is going and as long as we keep fighting, we can try and make change happen in college football, because it's been a travesty to this point. Even though I'm a fan of a team who's been able to reap the benefits, at the end of the day, it still needs to change. So that's the thing that we're looking at here. But with that, we switch on over to here. Definitely got to make sure to check out all things Podcast City Network. And, oh my goodness, I lost my whole entire spot here. Here we go. let me collect myself right now. Check out all things Podcast City Network. What can you tell us about that, Spayce?
FinalScore is a proud member of Podcast City Network. Podcast City Network has 20 independent podcast members across all genres of podcasting. You can find PCN on all major social media platforms, that being Facebook.com/Podcast City Network, Twitter @Podcast City Net, and you can search us on YouTube at Podcast City Network. And the most important link, podcastcity.net. We are always looking. Oh, what?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're always looking for interested podcast hosts and content creators to join the network. But we understand that may not be what you're looking for right now. You may just need a new logo, an intro, an outro, video, or music for your show. Live stream hosting for live broadcasters, voiceover work, or just some one-on-one consulting. No matter the need, we have you covered. Just go to podcastcity.net/services. And fill out the contact form for an estimate so we can help you reach your podcasting goals. Be creative, be independent, be yourself. Podcast City Network.
Yeah, buddy, that's what I'm talking about. But now it's time to talk about one person who probably isn't making too many people happy, and that's the MLB commissioner, Rob Manfred.
Rob Manfred.
Yeah, this guy is hated right now on so many ways. People are just looking at him saying,
I'm pissed now
because of what he's
Sucks
been doing.
To be you, bro.
Yeah, what he's been doing with his foreign substance policy is absolutely ridiculous. And he even claimed in a recent interview that things have gone very well, apparently, in the first couple of days of this.
He's pulling the old Donald Trump method of dealing with reporters,
Oh
eh?
God. Yeah, it's all okay. Here's a
Yeah,
paper that says so.
things are going fine
But it was
because
crazy
I
with
said
how,
so.
yeah, it's crazy with how he said this. He said, quote, "My view is the first 2 days have gone very well. We've had no ejections for foreign substances. Players in general have been extremely cooperative. The inspections have taken place quickly and between innings. Frankly, the data suggests that we are making progress with respect to the issues in spin rate that caused us to undertake the effort in the first place," end quote. What?
That sounds like complete malarkey. I don't know any system that makes a major change, such as how and what are the criteria for a drug test. You couldn't do that at a Fortune 500 company
Well,
and
this
not
is
have people.
well, this is for foreign substances used for pitching. So that's the big thing with
But
this.
still, like the fact is, it's certain substances that's just banned from everywhere. And if you just up and decided to like do a test on a Fortune 500 company staff that's used to only getting tested maybe like once or twice a year, and then you decide you're going to test the whole company every 2 weeks all of a
All
sudden.
right, Spayce, to bring you up to speed. Foreign substances for in this case though isn't anything drug related. It's all with sticky tack,
It's like,
rosin, all that kind of stuff to be able to pitch and handle the ball a little bit better.
oh, for real?
Yeah, but the big thing with this is we did have our first ejection finally. Seattle left-handed pitcher Hector Santiago got ejected after umpires found something in his glove in between an innings check, which he later claimed was just rosin to help him better grip the ball. And that's been the big thing with this whole story is that a lot of pitchers have been decrying it because they're saying that using these substances like sticky tack, spider tack, rosin, pine tar, all of that helps them get a better grip on that ball. That way they can try and deliver a more accurate ball.
We're not even talking about roids right now. We're just talking about stuff that sounds kind of practical, and it sounds like they've been
Right?
probably using this type of stuff for as long as they've been playing the game. So it sounds pretty confusing as to why it would suddenly be not okay to use this.
Well, here's why this ended up all changing, and to catch up fans who may have missed one of our last episodes, the big thing with this is that pine tar and all these different substances have been used for decades upon decades. However, there has been rules in place saying they can't use them, but umpires haven't been allowed to check players. So it's been kind of one of those under the rug kind of things. But the biggest thing and why people are decrying it so hard is that by using these substances, it helps make it for a more accurate ball and in turn a more safer game. So you're not having to worry about batters getting hit with balls or anything like that while delivering the ball to the catcher. So it's been kind of fought into that vein that this has been a safety issue more so than anything. Others saying competitively that it gives them an advantage. But here's the thing I look at is that I think it was 2 years ago we set the record for most home runs in a season by all combined teams. So I don't see how that's the truth. But, hey, whatever MLB has to tell itself, right? To me, it's just
Inconceivable!
that Rob Manfred thinks that this is going well. We've already seen a lot of issues. Some of the top pitchers already being searched, like Scherzer. Who else? Jake DeGrom was the very first one ever checked. Just absolutely ridiculous, and it slows down the game too. So,
And then that's something I was just about to ask. I was like, that sounds like something that would like had the game dragging if they had to stop it, do that. Like they talk about doing it in between innings. Like, what if y'all like stopping them before they come right back on to play? You know what I mean? Or right before they swap it out. Like, yeah. I mean, they already add enough time to it when they try to find creative ways to go for commercial breaks on games that's like on TV and everything like that.
and that's when they're trying to do these checks. But even then, if it takes longer, you have an issue where you have to eject somebody, then now you've kind of missed that whole thing. You're going to come back and now there's a different player there, or you're still trying to figure out who you're going to put in. So I think it slows everything down, man. And I think it's kind of ridiculous.
Extra piece of unnecessary bureaucracy for a sports game.
Yeah, you absolutely gotta love it. It's so ridiculous on so many levels. And Rob Manfred, who me and Craig have been saying for the longest time needs to be fired, is back at it again, pretty much. So because he is completely unfazed by all this kind of stuff and just saying, it's gone well. Yeah.
Yeah. So all in all, things are going fine. My view on the first 2 days has been days has gone very well. Like now re saying that quote after the whole story's been displayed.
You're killing me, Smalls.
It's even funnier than it was the first time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's what kills me. But the thing is, now that we've had our first ejection with Hector Santiago, I imagine it's going to continue, and there's going to be more stuff found, and this is going to end up being, I think, a bigger issue as the season wears on. And we'll definitely bring more to you here on Final Score when we have it, because this is definitely not going to end anytime soon whatsoever. So
yeah,
kind of is.
I remember a similar thing kind of happening in the NFL. When it was like so certain receivers had some type of substance.
Oh yeah, using pine tar.
Yeah, so now that we talk about this, I do remember that's something that is been used in more than one sport. So I mean, yeah, that does. I can see how that would give a slick advantage for the user.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's definitely an argument for both sides, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because I have a feeling there's probably going to be in a lot of meetings and talks once we get the off season with this entire policy and how MLB is trying to crack down on it. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. Mm-hmm. But you know what else is interesting? City Limits Tap Room in beautiful D-Land, Florida. Don't know about City Limits Tap Room? Well, go check them out at 2620 North Woodland Boulevard in beautiful DeLand, Florida, and all the great specials that they have going on, including Monday with all day $6 wing baskets and $5 pictures of Yingling, land shark, and bush light. Tuesdays, guys night with half off all wells and drafts from 7 p.m. to close. Wednesdays, all day $5 pictures of whatever the posted beer is from 2 p.m. to close, and $2 seltzers at the outside bar. And Thursday's ladies night with $1 wines, wells, and drafts from 7 p.m. to close. Friday, karaoke with Al, great friends of the network, from 7 p.m. to close. And Sunday, $13 domestic buckets and $16 import and craft buckets all day long. So definitely make sure to check out.
Basically just go every day.
Yeah, pretty much go every day. There's always kind of special going on every single day.
Just go park, just walk. Come on in and get wasted, guys. Every day we got things going on.
And then next thing you know,
them anymore.
And next thing you know, you're gonna be running down the road just screaming,
"I'm a man! I'm 40!"
So you know.
Exactly. Like, I promise you, I feel like this is one of those places where people who live within walking distance are there like often. $6 wing baskets. I feel like that's something I could be happy with. I could walk in with $11 and get $5 picture. Like, I like Yingling on draft too. So if y'all gonna bring a picture of it, just come on and make my day. On a Monday, come on. That's like lasagna for Garfield.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. Oh man, but that does bring us to our meme madness, and I ain't gonna lie, we definitely got a good one this week. I can't wait. We've had to save up because 2 weeks ago we had technical issues that led us not to be able to have meme madness, so we definitely had to so we had to make up for it this week. But first things first.
We got to drop a whole load on them today.
Well, the first, we got a whole bunch of them. I think this is probably the most we've ever had. But first things first, we're going to give a big congrats to FinalScore because we have hit 3,000 downloads.
What?
That's right. Big ovation there.
Oh, yeah.
And then we party time it.
Round of applause.
Absolutely, definitely a huge milestone for us, which it's already creeped up past 3,100. So
doing it on Podbean, man.
Yeah, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Trying to make it happen, man. Trying to make it happen. But our next meme is that if you're working every day for 2 weeks straight, side jobs after work too, no personal time or life, it's all right. If you might miss FinalScore, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Yeah. God, I love those Han Solo memes.
All that other stuff is happening, but you ain't missing this show.
No, I ain't missing this one. This one. But you know what? No, a lot
Right.
of people tried not to miss that Floyd Money Mayweather and Logan Paul fight, which people really paid $50 to watch Logan Paul put up Jameis Winston numbers in a boxing match.
Like I saw some clips from that dude. Like it was at one point in the fight where he was like holding him up so that way he wouldn't like get counted out because he didn't want the fight to end too early.
Exactly,
I'm
dude.
like, bruh, these the meme just popped up on my screen there, and I'm like,
Oh, you love it. You know you love it. Oh,
and then he
man.
just looking down too, like you knew what kind of hurricane you walked into. You walked in here to get yourself a spanking today, sir, and a spanking is what you got.
Pretty
Go
much.
home and
Even though
sit in the corner.
it ended in a no contest or whatever at the end because there was no official judging. Like, it was so ridiculous. That whole fight was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I am so glad I did not pay the money for it. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But our next one that we have though is I love just because it's our battle against the college football playoff, making it happen. Yeah, we totally took out the college football playoff right in the face. Oh man, making it happen. But our next one is a good one. Since 2000, the Patriots and the Cowboys have combined for 6 Super Bowls. Oh, wait a minute. I think that's all the Patriots.
There were some people that felt the burn
Oh, I hope they
as
do.
soon as that one
I hate
as
the
soon as that
Cowboys.
one popped up. Right. But I mean, you know, the Patriots have a kind of a tattered past as far as their record goes as well.
Oh, they do. Oh, they
So
do.
it's like saying Dark Side go up against General Zod.
Oh, well, looking at this, a lot of people didn't take the college football playoff seriously. And like Luke says here, I've seen this strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now. But now we're battling it. Hashtag down with CFP, baby.
Yeah. You down with CFP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with CFP? Every last body.
But you know what? We're gonna keep on the Star Wars kick because I love it. I absolutely love it. And Anakin saying,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna make some Final Score memes." They're not all Star Wars memes, right? They're not all Star Wars memes, right?
I just love the thought of like Star Wars characters actually on a mobile device, like on some Xena Girl of the 21st Century type shit, and like they just sitting there like retweeting like memes and like they saying Baby Yoda, and they was like yeah, I knew that wasn't like the real Baby Yoda before everybody else did. Like I'm loving thinking that. I'm loving thinking that Anakin Skywalker can get on the internet like when he puts the Darth Vader mask on, and then he just sees like all of what everybody says about him, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what's running through his mind when he's building a Death Star.
Oh, man. That's a good one. All right, our next one, though, and I hope it doesn't hurt your feelings, though. It's a Julio Jones one. But
No.
with Julio Jones going to Tennessee, it doesn't matter if it's Matt Ryan throwing to him. It's a Julio touchdown. If it's Ryan Tannehill throwing to him, it's going to be a Julio touchdown. If it's off the
That's what it
scoreboard
is.
and bank it off the wall and no rim, nothing but net, guess what? Julio touchdown.
It's a Julio touchdown. Yes, that's very true. And he first of all he earned that being the catcher for Matt Ryan all this time anyway, because we ain't finna act like he came in just doing an awesome job. But yeah, and it was so funny because one of the other memes that's gonna come up on Meme Madness is gonna be one that like when you talk about the whole mention your favorite team without naming them.
Oh, we're gonna
I
get
was
to
just
that
gonna
one in a
screw it
little
up.
bit. But a quick shout out to Jimmy though, saying this Death Star is gonna be great for my meme career, said Vader.
Right?
Oh man,
That's why he be breathing so hard. He just be sitting there like, the audacity. Fire up the lasers. Like that's why he already mad.
That's why Alderaan was first.
Some of these people, he be Sith choking. He be doing it like he be force choking. He be doing it because he just got off of YouTube reading the comments. He be like, you know what? I'll show them.
Right? Oh, this guy just messed up. Ah.
Right.
Oh man, but our next meme.
Even knew about.
Our next meme's a live look in at Montreal getting ready to come to America to play some hockey. Oh, it's too good. It's too good. I go to America.
Right,
oh,
bro. You can't go wrong with Borat.
No, you can never go wrong with Borat. Oh man, but looking at our next
that's how
one.
they go be though.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. But look at our next one. Is came straight from JDM himself. NHL looking for new refs. I count 7 bullets.
Seven.
Oh, 7
bullets.
Dude, I gotta get that live. That's gonna be a new one for the soundboard. Calling it now.
Right. Right, bro. Oh yeah, you got to get him and at least one Cookie Monster clip. Like, there's something about Cookie Monster that is enigmatic. You know what word I'm trying to say.
I know what word you're trying to say. It's okay. But you know what? We're gonna do a quick score update right now on the Atlanta Hawks and Milwaukee Bucks. The Hawks are still leading 78-75 with 3:28 left in the third. Making it happen. Just like we make it happen here at Final Score, because all these sports networks, they only look like what they need to mimic the fraction of our power.
Right. This is the internet, baby. All the rest of these sports shows, they relying off what's going on TV. We bring you the most up is to datest.
Yes,
informationist.
Right. That's right. But you know what? We're also going to take a look in on Le'Veon Bell right now, because he sat out the prime of his career and says, I hate Andy Reid. God, I love this meme.
Great way to walk in the room and let everybody see you spit in the punch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, you talking about shooting yourself in the foot. You just shot your foot off.
Oh, man. Yeah, completely off in every way. Andy Reid, I'm sure, is just laughing at a buffet right now. Oh, my goodness. But
I love the thought of him pulling up in that big ass red truck to a buffet right now.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I'm that is how, like, right? Eat steak he ain't even got to pay for.
Yeah, exactly. His eating power level.
It's over 9,000.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too good.
Yes.
It's too good. Oh man! All right, but
hopefully he saw that on his phone just now.
Our last meme. Oh man, laughs with mouthful. I love it. Yeah. Jimmy in the chat saying Andy Reid laughs with mouthful. Oh my god.
That's exactly like that's how you know. Like the fact that all three of us saw it that way. Like fork in hand, full of food, other mouthful, still chewing.
It's too good.
He's so dead. Oh
man. All right, but our last meme of the night, this one made me laugh out loud so hard when I first saw it. It says, look, we signed Tim Tebow. He's gonna help us win, right? He's gonna help us win, right? Oh, Jacksonville.
That's what his manager said. I don't know what to call it at this point of the game right now. We'll have to get that redirected to the human resources department. Don't put me under this kind of pressure. Of course, this is just a publicity stunt. Ah!
Hey, at least he's selling merch like there's no tomorrow.
Right, no, watch everybody. Like, it's the next time spring break come around, you're gonna have a whole bunch of Jaguar gear from this year that just popped up because they thought this was gonna be it. This was gonna be the year, Jethro.
Oh,
the Jaguars gonna take it all the way this time.
They're gonna try. They gonna try. They got T-Law now, so we'll see.
Jesus sent Tim Tebow because we need a ring, and he's always kneeling.
Oh man. Oh,
like
that's
he's
too
gonna propose
good.
for marriage. Get us that ring, boy.
Oh, but you know what else you should do is check out Podcast City Network and all the great stuff they have going on. And
Absolutely.
And believe it or not, JDM is at it again. I'm not even gonna lie. So listen to this quick message from JDM.
What's going on, guys? Let me ask you something. Ladies and gentlemen, have you always wanted to start a podcast but didn't know how? Do you already have a podcast but don't know how to grow it? Are you trying to find ways to make your podcast profitable? You can learn to do it here at Podcast City Network. We offer consulting services and tutorial classes to help with learning to better expand your knowledge and to grow your show. We also give access to our network of shows to help with cross-promotion, guests, and overall reach, while also becoming a part of our ever-expanding PCN community based on people helping people. The best part is, guess what? No membership fee. So what are you waiting for, man? What the hell are you waiting for? Go to podcastcity.net/join now and join the fastest growing independent podcast network around. Podcast City Network.
Man, gotta love JDM every time he's able to pop on. That guy's a machine. I'm trying to make sure things still happen.
Huge shouts out to JDM. He gave a very polished Podcast City Network.
He did. But that does bring us now to our good old give or go. And we definitely got some interesting ones for this week. Starting off first with the Japan's emperor being extremely worried about the Olympics amid the coronavirus pandemic. Now,
I almost forgot they had an emperor.
Yeah,
almost.
Yep, they got an emperor. But the thing is that these Olympics were supposed to take place last year, 2020, during COVID, but obviously COVID happened, so naturally they got postponed.
Coughing and dying.
Exactly. So they went ahead and pushed it back to this summer of 2021. Now, the Emperor's been extremely worried just because you do have a lot of these athletes coming from all over the world that are going to be coming in to the country of Japan to compete in the Olympic Games. However, the biggest thing they're not going to have is fans from all of those countries showing up just because they have lockdown restrictions not to be able to try and keep as much as they can in control when it comes to the actual pandemic. So they also have a lot of stuff. Yeah, and they have a lot of stuff in place to try and help keep everybody healthy and safe during the Olympic Games. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm actually sitting here wondering, like, I wonder what is their protocol going to be, like, as far as, like, testing or vaccination goes and, like, mask wear and, like, you know, social distancing because, you know, as the vaccine rolls out and people start taking it and all that good stuff, it's like then they start talking about the Delta variant. I would hate for, you know, the fear of what could happen with the Delta variant to ramp up right during these Olympics, especially after that's the one thing that everybody's afraid of. So, but outside of that, you know, I am kind of hype about seeing the Olympics overall. Like, I definitely get why they're not having as many people come in, because as we all know, wherever the Olympics is, literally people from all over. So the airports are clogged, the streets are filled, the hotels, the everything. Like, as somebody living in a city that did host the Olympics when we did it in '96, I was old enough to remember how clustered the streets were. And, you know, it kind of started to look like that now, honestly, with so many people just being here all the time. So I can only imagine what a place like Japan would look like during the peak of all of those people from all over the place traveling to somewhere that's already kind of, you know, congested as is. I definitely can understand the protocols that they're trying to put in place for this. So yeah,
and they're pushing hardcore to try and have as much as they can dealt with when it comes to antivirus measures. But the biggest issue they're having right now is that the Ugandan Olympic team that is being currently hosted in one of the towns had a second member of their team test positive for the virus, as well as reportedly a coach, as well as there being an uptick, I guess, in numbers in the Tokyo area. So some general concern, but Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga is said he is determined to hold these Olympics and said that there shouldn't be too many issues as long as they take the necessary precautions. So I guess we'll definitely see what we end up getting.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about the Olympics is that not a ton of what is not a ton of the Olympic sports are contact sports, so that does like alleviate rather a lot of the worry about a lot of this stuff. Um, so yeah, I guess, and especially since most of the people who watch the Olympics over the last couple of decades have watched it, via the internet, television, and even before that, like they listen to it on the radio for the most part, like because they can only, each stadium, each place that the events are held, they can only hold so many people as is. So the majority of the crowd for the Olympics has been, remote as it is. So I think as far as for most of the spectators, it'll be just fine, just as long as we get to watch it, unfold, you know, from the distance. Was like for somebody like us who was already gonna watch it on TV anyways, I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference.
Yeah, it's not gonna make much of a difference either way. And like Jimmy's saying in the chat, we've been doing this for a while now. They can get it right if they try hard enough, and he's absolutely right, honestly. Because you got to think we already have vaccinations rolling out as well. So, if more people are vaccinated before they even go, that could be something that could really help curb this thing from being a real issue, especially from an outside presence or even having people bring it back. So, it's gonna be. It'll definitely be interesting, like I said, how this will play out. We'll definitely find out more and bring more to you here on Final Score once we learn more and we get closer to the actual Olympic Games taking place. Now, we have another Give or Go topic that I think is absolutely amazing, and I think everyone who is watching this show is going to love. And that is that the alternate helmet has been approved by the NFL for use with throwback uniforms in 2022. So during the 2022 season, you will actually be able to see alternate helmets again return, which I know for me being an Eagles fan is huge because that means we can finally roll back out the Kelly green uniforms that we used to wear back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this. Are you excited for this?
Yeah, I am. I didn't even realize that was like a whole issue because like especially with our Hawks being on fire right now, some of the most fun Hawks and Falcons games when they get to bust out the throwback jerseys and the alternate helmets, like it's fun for the fans to be able, because a lot of fans have those jerseys and those colors at home when you have been a long time fan of a franchise. So when they able to bust that out, it's definitely fun for the fans to see, to wear along with the players. And I think it gives the players a nice little switch up in what they wearing while they actually on the field too. So, I think that's great for everybody.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. And I think it's going to be really great once they're able to roll this out because they end up curtailing it for a random reason. And people have been battling for a couple of long while actually to have these returns. So really great to see this finally come back. Well, right now they've been getting pushed not only by the fans but also ownership to allow this. Most notably, Jeffrey Lurie of the Philadelphia Eagles has really been pushing with this. So this was an inevitability for a lot of people, and the NFL, ever since COVID happened, has been trying to be, it seems like, more curtailing to fans and to ownership. So,
yeah, I mean, they really, that's where the smart money is for them to focus in on those key areas, because at the end of the day, their paycheck revolves around fans being interested in the overall brand of the NFL, as well as the many brands within the NFL, like each team and all of that. So, I mean, if y'all, especially since, what I'm saying, it's limited capacity for a lot of stuff, which means y'all legitimately can't even sell as many tickets as y'all would like to. Y'all kind of got to cater to the fans to make sure they want to keep coming through for this.
Absolutely. So I think it'll be really great. And like I said, I cannot wait. It's going to be great. And I hope all the teams take full advantage of it. and definitely roll out some throwbacks throughout that 2022 season. But that does bring us...
it's a great way to pay homage to the previous teams.
It is. It really is, honestly. But that does bring us to the end of Give or Go. We thank you guys so much. It's always been a good one for Give or Go. But that does bring us to Podchaser, because Apple Podcasts is not your only credible source for podcast discovery. You can follow creators, browse every podcast ever, and rate and review episodes. Just go to podchaser.com and search keyword FinalScore, one word, and follow, rate, and review us. Podchaser.com. A lot of great stuff going on over there with Podchaser. They're always rolling out new stuff all the time. But that does bring us, though, to the
logo
week
is
ahead.
so freaking smooth.
Oh, yeah. They got one of the smoothest logos, man. I always loved it. I told him that when I met him, too, back at Podfest. It's really great stuff. But in the week ahead, we still have the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. It's going to be starting tomorrow, so definitely make sure to check that out. And Game 2 taking place also on Wednesday. So you can find both of those on the NBC Sports Network. Game time 8:30, if I'm not mistaken, or 8 o'clock, I'm sorry, for both games. So definitely make sure to check that out, as well as the continuation of the NBA playoffs. Got the Western and Eastern Conference Finals.
More NBA for your eyeballs coming your way, man.
Oh, yeah, and just a quick update. We're at the end of the third quarter. Hawks are still leading 85-83. So very narrow margin. We said this one definitely would go down to the wire, so we'll definitely see what happens with that. But we also
going to be lit tomorrow after this W. I'm going to go ahead and call it.
Oh, man, it's going to be, man. Go ahead and call that W. It's all right. I think they're going to get it, too. But you can also check out the great lineup of PCN Sports podcasts, including JDM and Not a Hockey Market podcast, the Nest podcast, the Rip Griffin Show, Fixed Edge, and Not Your Average Podcast in the 716. And I can tell you right now, Fixed Edge will be coming back again live for episode 18. I believe it'll be this Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. So definitely make sure to check at Fixed Edge on Facebook and Fixed Edge Investing on YouTube, and at Fixed Edge on Twitter to be able to get the latest updates on that. And of course, you can always catch Final Score every Sunday. Again, next week with episode 111 at 9 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live. Man, it's a lot to say, not gonna lie.
Right, but it was all worth it because y'all needed to understand just how real this Podcast City Networks game is. We coming strong.
Absolutely.
20+ shows deep and counting.
That's right. Making it happen. But we thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely make sure to check us out next week for episode 111, 9 p.m. Eastern, again on Facebook Live. And definitely make sure to go on our social media outlets at PCN Final Score and smash those like, follow, and subscribe buttons. Any last words, Spayce?
Yeah, man. Big shouts out to everybody that came to check us out on the live and on the playback, man. My first pod appearance since the birth of little Spayce. He was born on the 8th, so I've been on my little I've been on my little scoop hiatus. Oh yeah. So now we got Baby Nerd and we got little Spayce over here crawling, taking over the headquarters. So yeah, man. Nano Kitty Cat is like scratching her eyeballs out, trying to get us back in the saddle so we could do the season finale. And then we're going to start going live on y'all next season. So I really can't wait. I'm excited. So glad you brought me back on the Final Score again, Chris. You know I love coming on and getting hyped, tag teaming it with your boy.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. So appreciate y'all for watching and listening, guys.
Definitely. And until next time, I'm Chris, and that's Spayce, and you guys just watched Final Score. Y'all have a great night.
Yeah.
Podcast City Network.